Did you know the average American sees over 4,000 pieces of persuasive messaging every day? And studies report that up to 67% of people feel anxious after consuming news media. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, subscribe. Today, we're going to be talking about something that affects us all, whether we realize it or not. Something that is a major source of anxiety. I think it's the biggest threat to people's mental health in the modern world, and that is propaganda. The hidden mental health costs of propaganda and persuasive messaging. When I say propaganda, what comes to mind? Probably conjuring up images of the USSR, North Korea, communist China. You probably don't think propaganda is something you're being exposed to. You probably think that propaganda only exists in history books and authoritarian regimes. And that proves how effective propaganda actually is. The very fact that you don't think you're being exposed to propaganda demonstrates how effective this kind of modern persuasive messaging has become. Dr. Emma Richards is a political psychologist at Yale University. She defines propaganda as the systemic dissemination of information designed to shape the public's opinions and behaviors. What makes modern propaganda particularly effective is its subtlety. Modern propaganda doesn't announce itself. Instead, it masquerades as news, entertainment, or social media content. Let's break down the main techniques used in propaganda. The first technique is oversimplification, reducing complex issues down to simplified, emotionally charged versions. This could be politicians saying things like, if we don't do this, people will die. Demonization, creating an enemy to unite people against. That enemy could be a leader of a faraway country or a whole faraway country. Repetition, constantly repeating messages until they feel familiar and true. Emotional appeals, using fear, anger, or patriotism to generate an emotional response, to generate strong emotions within the target population. By doing this, propaganda bypasses your ability to think critically. Let me ask you, which of these techniques have you noticed in recent history? Let me know in the comments below which of these techniques you've spotted recently. So now we know what propaganda is. Let's look at the psychological impact. How does constant exposure to persuasive messaging affect our mental well-being? I know in the past I would find myself checking the news regularly. There was a recent events in the UK where I found myself constantly looking for updates to know what was going on. News has made me irritable, it's made me anxious, it's caused me trouble sleeping, it's caused me relationship problems and left me constantly on edge. It wasn't until I began healing my own anxiety that I realized just how much news media was contributing to it, that I realized I needed to step back from that stuff. Research shows that propaganda and persuasive messaging can impact our mental well-being in several ways. It increases anxiety and stress. Studies from the American Psychological Association show that exposure to negative news stories increase cortisol levels by up to 27%. When we're constantly being bombarded by messages suggesting immediate threats, our bodies remain on high alert. This kind of persuasive messaging erodes our trust. We start to lose trust in institutions and even each other, even people in our own community. A 2023 Pew Research study found that around 25% of people trusted news from government sources. That was down massively from the same kind of research in the 1950s, which said around 75% of Americans trusted those same sources. Propaganda causes cognitive dissonance. It forces us to hold conflicting beliefs. For example, we might be told that a country is losing a war against a much smaller country, but they pose a threat to us when we're thousands of miles away. We might be told that the temperature is rising, and then we'll put the weather on and we'll hear that we're experiencing the lowest temperatures in 100 years. We might be told the economy is booming by one news source, and we might be told it's in recession by another. This mental conflict creates genuine psychological distress. Political polarization. Dr. Jonathan Haidt, I think that's how you pronounce it, explains when media ecosystems create separate realities, people begin to view those with different political beliefs, not just as wrong, but as fundamentally threatening. This destroys the social fabric that supports mental health. Maybe you can remember a big event in recent history where this has really been noticed. Let me know in the comments below. Feelings of helplessness. When you're constantly exposed to global problems without solutions, you can develop a state of learned helplessness. Learned helplessness occurs after a person has been repeatedly exposed to a traumatic event again and again. They learn there's nothing they can do about it, so they give up trying. So when propaganda causes you to develop this kind of learned helplessness, you're going to enter a state where you start believing that your actions don't matter. conspiracy thinking. When trust in mainstream sources decline, people start to seek alternative sources of information. Healthy skepticism is important. Researchers at Cambridge University have found links between conspiracy beliefs, increased anxiety, paranoia, social alienation, and I think personally, my personal theory is that some conspiracy theories are created, such as the flat earth theory, to make anyone that questions any narrative look crazy. So how do you spot the propaganda? Let's have a test. Let's test your critical thinking ability. I'm going to give you 3 news headlines about the same fictional event. Your challenge is to spot the propaganda techniques in each one. Pause the video and have a think about what you're noticing. Let me know what you're noticing in the comments below. Are you ready? Here is headline 1. Heroic freedom fighters suffer devastating losses as brutal enemy forces unleash hell on innocent village. Headline number 2. War continues because enemy refuses peace talks. Headline number 3. Support our military action or stand with the terrorists. Did you spot the emotional language in the first headline? The oversimplification in the second headline, and in the third headline we had false dichotomy. Let me know in the comments below. Learning to recognize these patterns is the first step towards protecting your mental health. So, what else can we do to protect our mental health in this environment? Besides just spotting these things, what else can we do to protect our mental health in this environment? Here are some evidence-based strategies you can start implementing right away. Number 1, develop media literacy. Learning to critically evaluate information is your first line of defense. Ask yourself, who created this content and why? What emotions am I feeling while consuming it? If I were being manipulated, what emotions would the manipulator want me to be feeling whilst consuming this information? What information might be missing? What's the full story? Number 2, sift. Stop, investigate, find better coverage, trace claims. Media literacy isn't being cynical. It's about being empowered to make informed choices about what you believe. Number 3, practice strategic news consumption. According to research, implementing boundaries around news consumption can reduce anxiety by up to 60%. Try these practical approaches. Designate specific times to read news. Limit your news consumption to 30 minutes in the afternoon. Never watch anything that's going to stir strong emotions before bed. There's tools and apps that you can use to evaluate the credibility of news sources. Follow the 24-hour rule on breaking news. Don't allow yourself to form opinions until you've allowed all of the facts to fully emerge. Number 5, diversify your information diet. Research shows that exposure to diverse viewpoints reduces polarization, improves critical thinking, decreases susceptibility to manipulation. Number 6, try challenging your own viewpoints. Once a week, read information or consume information from a perspective you disagree with. Once a week, I will go to this left-wing or right-wing blog and I will read their latest stories to challenge my own perspective. Number 7, cultivate mental resilience. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness practices can reduce the impact of stressful information. A 2022 study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that regular meditation decreased emotional reactivity to politically charged content by 47%. Simple practice: before responding to emotionally charged content, take 3 deep breaths, breathing all the way down into your stomach, breathing out with a big sigh, and ask yourself, how significant will this seem in 1 month's time? Number 8, foster community connection. Online political discourse can feel toxic, but genuine human connection is the antidote. Research shows that genuine social connection buffers against manipulation, provides perspective, and reduces feelings of isolation. And finally, recognize when to seek help. If you're experiencing persistent anxiety about world events, checking the news obsessively, experiencing sleep disturbances, withdrawing from relationships, blocking people on social media, not talking to family members because of political differences, that's a sign that overexposure to propaganda is severely affecting your mental health. Remember, being informed doesn't have to come at the cost of your mental well-being. By understanding propaganda techniques and implementing the strategies I've discussed in this video, you can stay informed whilst protecting your mental health. If you've liked this video, found it useful, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. If you know anyone that could benefit from the information that's been discussed in this video, please share it with them. Thank you for watching. See you next time.